They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way up, way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Starting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah, I had to ball, so I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate.
All right. We in the building. Salute everybody in the building. Oh, yeah, we're going to build today. Salute to the show. Yeah, we got a little late. You know how that is. You know, got to work on the professionalism, right? Got to work on the professionalism. Definitely. Salute Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more in the building. Salute Bruce Gas. Eastside Easy. What's up? Back like we never left. You already know it, man. You already know it. AK Crowder, salute to you, family. Definitely, brother from another. And, of course, Big Sarge. I know we creeping in the building. Please remember to hit the likes on the way in the building. Building on this boxing this morning. Getting at it. Doing what we do. Jalil, what is Big Sarge saying here? Yeah, man, we're going to talk about it, right? Jalil Hack and Devin Haney riff is giving me shades of that riff between Devin and Erickson Lubin. A little bit. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know. Erickson didn't seem to really want to push it as far as Jalil wants to push it right now. Like, you know, Erickson seemed to really just been caught up in a plot by somebody else to kind of make Devin look bad. But this one looks like Jalil's taking, you know, Jalil's definitely, this is between Jalil and Devin, and Jalil definitely wants that smoke without a doubt. But we're going to talk about it, though. Christopher Brooks, salute, man. How you doing, family? Salute the best new show. Oh, thank you, Christopher Brooks. I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate that. Man, we got a lot to talk. Do we have a lot to talk about today? I don't know, man. We're going to keep it simple today. We're going to talk about this boxing, of course. 2025 is coming up on us, guys, man. And man, 2024 is such a great year. The New Year's show I'm putting together for the New Year's show is going to be interesting. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, obviously, reminiscing over the 2024 year, all kind of fights, knockouts of the years, comebacks. Obviously, Turkey's more so cementing his space in the boxing space, and how that is affecting us. So much to talk about. But going into 2025, I'm really excited. I ain't gonna even lie to you guys. I don't know about you guys. Salute Mr. Lightning in the building. Salute. Their weight classes for a reason. Yeah, Big Sarge. But if we're talking about that Devin Haney, Jalil Hackett situation, there are weight classes for a reason, right? But I mean, one could argue we don't know what Devin Haney plans on actually landing, right? We don't know where he's actually going to land. I mean, the rumor is, they'll tell us one thing, but they might do something else. Devin Haney's always been considered a big 140-pounder, 135-pounder. Like, this kid's been considered a bully, right? Up until this point. A lot of people at least have spoken that. So, 147, one more weight class up. Devin's hinted towards fighting the Keith Thurmans and Mario Barrios is up there at times. So he's definitely flirted with going to 147. So is him fighting Jalil Hackett at 147 really... Is it really that crazy? I don't know. I mean, Jalil is a prospect, though, right? So a little far-fetched. But look, man, if you're going to talk the talk, it'd be nice to see you walk the walk, right? We'll talk about it, though. Let me see. Thomas Hill, salute my guy. My guy, Thomas Hill, was good, family. 2 Cent Pop's tripping. He want me to ask for my bike back. Bang, bang, boogie in the building. Salute, King. What's good with you, family? What's good with you, family? Thank you, Mr. Lighten. I appreciate that, man. Yo, yesterday on Blues Channel, man, I was the oddball out, right? I was being optimistic. I was being optimistic on the channel, and you guys, I don't know if you guys were there, but everybody was just like, "Come on, Clay, man." They wanted me to be cynical, Clay, but I can't be cynical, Clay. I'm optimist, Clay. Shout out to who gave me that name? Was it Mr. Herms? Somebody gave me that name yesterday, and I liked it. Optimist Clay. You know what I mean? Like the Transformers. Optimist Clay. Anyway, yeah, inside joke, I guess. But yeah, man, I'm optimist. You know what I'm saying? I'm an optimist, man. I think we're going to see some great fights next year, and yes, including from Tank. I think Tank is going to give us some great fight, a great fight next year. I'm not saying great fights. I don't know what with Tank, but I think he has one. I think that announcement on March 1st is going to be something I'm looking forward to seeing. I think that's actually part of the event, in my opinion. I think the announcement is probably the most exciting part of that event that I'm looking forward to. Right? I mean, obviously, I'm going to watch him fight Lamont, and we'll see how that goes. Like, we don't know how that's going to go, but it's really the announcement, right? I think everybody's going to be waiting for the end of that fight to hear him get on that mic and call out who he's going to be fighting next. We all could only imagine who it's going to be. Will it be Shakur? Will it be Devin? Will it be Rayo? You know what I mean? Will it be Ryan? Who's it going to be? And that's what what I'm more so excited about. I want to know what's happening there, right? But we'll talk about that as well, for sure. We'll definitely talk about that as well. What's going on here? Tank Better, he said 5 names and said he had 6 fights on his deal, including this one. Yeah, man. And look, with the combination of the threat of retiring, because that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the threat of retiring, because I think that's what he's doing. I think Tank is threatening somebody retirement, you know what I'm saying? Because he's, you know what I mean? He's not playing with these dudes. He's letting certain people know that this is not a game. He's letting people know why he's in the game. And if those boxes aren't being checked, you know what I mean? There are other options for him. And one of those options could be gracefully bowing out of this game, right? Gracefully bowing out of this game. Get the fights made. No more the ish right here. No doubt. What's this? Is it that channel, Thomas? Is that a channel? Let me open it up. Let me see what it is. Let's see what it is. Oh, no, that pulled up. That's a YSM link. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Bang bang. What's the deal with T.O. every week calling dudes out? Let me see here. Not even in their weight class. Wait, hold on. Let me put that back up. What's the deal with T.O. every week calling dudes out that's not even in his weight class? What's next? T.O. versus Usyk. Shake my head. Bang bang. Listen, man. T.O. man. Whenever I talk about T.O., man, whenever we talk about T.O., it's always bitter and sweet, right? It's bitter because he's got so many antics. There's so many antics with him, man. You know what I mean? And in all honesty, unlike Ryan Garcia, who I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, he just rubbed me the wrong way, and we don't need to get into that. T.O. didn't necessarily rub me the wrong way all the way yet, even though the antics are crazy, because I still weigh as to if I don't think he's as serious as people think he is. I think he's serious about one thing, making big fights. And I think we're looking at somebody who's very desperate to get into a big fight. And somebody's told him that these antics are going to get him somewhere. And I haven't seen it yet. But look, if he's able to put this situation together with Jaron Boots Ennis, if this really comes to fruition, from what I understand, the negotiations are in real time happening. Turkey's involved. That means there's money involved. That should check the boxes for T.O. Jaron Boots Ennis is in the perfect time in his career right now where he needs some sort of catalyst, right? He needs something to help catapult his career where it needs to be. He's been on this uphill battle for a long time, hanging out at 147, maybe a little too long for the fan base. The fan base is about ready to see him move. and he decided to stay there and pass on a big opportunity to move up to 154 and fight Virgil Ortiz. He didn't take it. The fan base is calling him ducks, everything. He needs something, right? He wants to unify. The champions aren't available right now for him to fight. It's either, find somebody to fight at 147 or stay inactive again for almost a damn year. And is he trying to do that? I doubt that, right? That's not what Eddie Hearn's in the game for. I think Teofimo, Jaron Boots Ennis may be right at the right time. Madison Square Garden, New York, mid-March. Why not? So what's up with Teo calling out people? Man, he's trying to make a fight, man. I'm ready to see him fight, and I'm ready to see him do less talking and more fighting. So let's see what happens with it, man. Let's see what he does, man. Let's see what this manifests into. Hunter Young says, FTO and anyone like him. No black fighter should give him a payday. No black fan should ever watch him fight. I don't have time to figure out if you're playing or not. Yeah, man. I understand it. I understand, man. But it's boxing, right? And at the end of the day, outside of Teofimo and his antics, he's a good boxer, man. He's a good boxer, and he performs well when there's a lot on the table. When there's a lot on the table, he seems to perform well. So I'm always interested in seeing good boxing, right? Didn't say I'm gonna invite Teo to my next cookout or that I'm about to endorse Teo for president of the United States or anything like that. But when it comes to boxing, I want to see good boxing, and I think Teo is a good fighter, and I think Jaron could use Teo's just skillful enough, has enough accolades to get Jaron Ennis recalibrated, bring him back into the space of competitive championship boxing, pull him out of that space of showboating and taking crazy chances to entertain the crowd and get him a little more disciplined. That last fight, I think, opened up a third eye for him. So I think this works out, man. If Teo's able to pull this out, let's see what happens, man. Let me see. Let's see what happens, man. Teo might take the IBF from Boots. Hey, Mac. Hey, man, it's boxing, right? It's boxing. Teo calling black guys monkeys, diabolical, and cross the line for me. Yeah, Big Sarge. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's crazy. 2 cents. Nah, Teo trying to keep the heat off his ass for not making quality fights in his division. Yeah, that's what it is. 100%. 2 cents. I agree with you 100%. This is what this is about. It's about the quality fights that he wants to be part of, and he doesn't feel like it seems like he doesn't feel like what's in front of him in his division gives him the accolades he wants, right? He seems like he wants to go big or go home. He wants big paydays, and I guess he's just not getting offered the big money for anybody in his division. I mean, I guess even Devin, I don't understand it. You know what I mean? It's really confusing to me. Like I said, I want to see him get back to fighting, man. Get back to boxing. Shut up. Stop talking on the mic. Stop saying all the crazy stuff you're saying. Fight somebody, man, and then fight somebody again about 4 months later, and then fight again and not another 4 months. Fight 2 to 3 times a year. Less talking, more fighting. That's when you was at your best, man. All this other stuff, man, no way, man. All this other stuff, it really just gets in the way. Stop giving him credit for average performance against handpicked fighters. 4 of his last fights have been trash. Yeah, and I think he knows that, 2 cents. I'm telling you. I think he knows that. I think he knows that the quality of fights that he's been involved in, they haven't been exceptional. Nothing special about them. And I think he wants to be involved in special fights. You know what I mean? I think that's what his issue is. He wants to be involved in special fights. He wants to separate himself from the boxing space, from the rest of the normal fighters. He thinks he should be in the same conversations as Tank. He wants to be in the same conversations with Canelo, with David Benavidez, with the people who move the needle, the pay-per-view guys. He wants to headline pay-per-views and get big paydays. And he's not going to do that, at least from his mindset, by fighting, maybe by fighting Devin, but I don't think he feels that about like Subriel, or he feels like he can do that with any of the champions at 140. He doesn't feel like he can do it with the people around him. He wants to go up and challenge himself. I can respect it. But once again, the antics are just cringe. The antics are cringe. He just needs to get in the ring, man. Fight somebody, or I don't know what to tell you, Teo. Do you Clay critics come with the territory? It means you're making it 100. Yeah? Oh, no doubt, Mr. Lightning, for sure. Thank you, man. So let's build, man. We got so much to talk about. I really do want to address a couple of topics here today. Let's see. Jaron Ennis in the driver's seat, right? Let's talk about Jaron Ennis this morning. So Jaron Ennis puts out another interview. I don't know if you guys saw the other interview that he did with YSM. Jaron Ennis put out another interview with YSM and speaking about fighters coming together. He wants the fighters to actually come directly to him. Dare I say it might have seemed like he was trying to circumvent Eddie Hearn a little bit, maybe just a little bit, right? But more importantly, what he's trying to do is he's trying to figure out why these fights aren't happening. He clearly has had a bad experience where he feels like Eddie Hearn, whatever Eddie Hearn and Turki Al-Sheikh was speaking on, he feels like he wasn't made abreast of everything and in its entirety, and he feels like it made him look bad, right? And I have to agree with him. I think it probably does make him look bad at this point, right? The miscommunication, him being in the dark to certain points of this negotiation, as far as the fight actually being announced, he feels like he was kept in the dark. The fight should have never been announced, because if it was a fight actually negotiated or contracted or agreed upon, he feels like he wasn't aware of that. So he puts the blame on himself. He takes ownership for the situation, and the way he's addressing it now is he's speaking a little bit more regularly, right? It looks like him and Mel over at YSM are working it out to where he's speaking out more regularly, and he's inviting Mario Barrios, Brian Norman Jr., and Stanionis. He's inviting them all to the table, and he's saying, let's put it all out there, guys, and let's make this fight happen, because he feels like the promoters are probably getting in front of these fights from happening. He feels like the negotiations that's going on aren't benefiting the fighters. What do you guys think about that? You think, could you use Jaron Ennis being a little bit more vocal, communicating a little bit more in the space? I don't know, man. Shout out to my co-host, Ray Davis, in the building. Ray, what's goody, man? Is your sound good?
I'm good. I'm hoping it's good. How we sound?
Oh, we sound good, man. We doing it. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking about Jaron Ennis. Did you see the second interview that he just recently had? YSM?
Yeah. No, I didn't see the new interview. Obviously, I caught up on some other stuff, but yeah. Let me know, man. I'm hearing you dig in on it.
It looks like he's trying to become a little bit more regular. It looks like he's trying to speak a little bit more. One thing Jaron Ennis has been horrible at is his presence in social media, right? A lot of narratives get pushed for him. Jaron Ennis has been attached to Terrence Crawford for so long. Yesterday in Blues Channel, people were getting at Jaron, saying he better not say Terrence's name and stuff like that. And remember I brought it up yesterday. We're here for boxing. I'm like, well, let's be honest. When was the last time Jaron really said Terrence's name like that? Like, I don't see him necessarily pushing for that fight like that, but I do believe him and Terrence Crawford being linked has been a big issue for Jaron Boots Ennis's growth, right? Because everything about Jaron Boots Ennis's career at this point has been narrative driven, because especially considering that he doesn't speak for himself as much as I think he should. He definitely doesn't defend or address things that go on in the space about him. So, the devil's mind, right? What he said, the idle mind becomes the devil's playground, right? So fans kind of take it upon themselves to kind of push narratives out there. And so it seems like he's trying to get in front of it a little bit more, try to become a little more regular. YSM is rocking with them over at the at Boots Ennis' gym. That's like their social media guy. So I guess they're going to utilize, the comrade they got in Mel over there, and he's going to start communicating to the space a little bit more regularly. Yesterday he comes out and he says he wants to bring all the champions to the table. Mario Barrios, Brian Norman, Stanionis. He says he wants to bring them to the table, and he wants to start building. You know what I'm saying? He wants to kind of get involved, kind of Errol Spence it a little bit, Terrence Crawford a little bit, follow suit with those fighters who are making fights happen outside of their promoters, depending on their promoters to put it together. What do you think about that?
That's a good thing.
Man, every time this dude about to speak, he freezes up. He froze up. Say it again.
I see it. Yeah, I see it. I said it's funny. I just dropped that in the chat. The whole Earl Spence comparison in the career path at 147 for Earl.
Right.
Though Earl had a little bit more fighters, how Earl had Mikey Garcia at 140 calling him out and moving up in weight to fight him all at the same time. Earl decides that he wants to go on this rampage and get all these belts. So it's ironic that all this is happening all correspondingly at the same time. And what belt did Earl have? The IBF, of course. So it's really funny that all these things are being formatted the same, right? So we're starting to see a pattern here. And also, the biggest thing is the fans are calling for Earl, for Boots to move up, just like they asked for Earl to move up, but he wanted to get that undisputed, right? So history is repeating itself. We don't like when history repeats itself because we know bad things happen. I think what's going on with Boots and him being more vocal is a good thing. I think it's better for his career. I think it's kind of playing to the forms of him putting on his big boy shoes and saying, "Dad, look, I know you mean well. I know you worry about me saying I'm very intelligent. Let me talk. Let me talk about things myself. I don't need you guys keep putting things out there that's making me look bad and making these people understand why you're saying this and why you're saying that. Even though you're your own person and you're giving your thoughts, it's still coming back to me. And because I'm the boxer, I'm the guy in the ring, I'm the guy that they want to see. So it's making me look like it's making me the victim. At the same time, it's also making me the villain and the criminal. So instead of him doing that, he's taking charge of it. He's taking the onus and he's putting himself out there to be the voice of Boots Ennis. And if Bozy says something, Bozy's going to speak on behalf of himself and representing Boots. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think we're going to start seeing that. And I think it's a good thing that YSM, I won't call Mel by his first name, but, I always do when I talk to you on the phone. But, yeah, YSM is doing his thing, man. So, I hope all parallels and comes out for him. Absolutely. And salute to everybody in the chat that just shouted me out, including the Flyer Frequency and my boy here for Boxing in the Building. What's up, y'all?
No doubt, no doubt. Here for boxing. Salute King, salute Flyer Frequency, and salute RC, man. Salute. Yeah, man. Look, man. Fighters seem to be getting in front of the nonsense, right? Look, to make these, it's becoming more and more abundantly clear that in order for these big fights to be made, we can go down the list of fighters this year who stepped out on their own to make big fights, right? And these fighters seem to be seeing the success in it, right? I mean, I think Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford was a big movement in this conversation, right? Other fighters have done it before. They're not like pioneers or the first to do it, but their negotiation really was a very public, messy one, right? To the point where we almost didn't see the fight happen, and ultimately at the end, it was both of them who had to come together and ultimately save those negotiations and make that fight happen. Like I think we all could just come together to say that this fight doesn't happen without Errol and Terrence getting on the phone, because it did seem like the powers that be on the outside of the negotiation or the conversation between them were doing everything in their power to stop this fight from happening. And for what? For the politics of boxing, for the money, for the clout, and for the market value of Errol Spence and protecting their investment, but ultimately protecting the investment, not aligning up with the actual reason why these boxers jump in the game, which is legacy, right? To be great, to be champions, to be undisputed, to be recognized, to be Hall of Famers at some point in time. At some point in time in their career, that's what they want to be, I believe, most of them. I think Gervonta Tank Davis may possibly be an exception to the rule. At points, I can't lie to you, it seems like he does not give a damn about a legacy or getting in a Hall of Fame or championships. He seems like his focus right now is totally money. But I think most fighters resonate more with how Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence felt when it came time to make that fight. So we see fighters like David Benavidez, going out on his own to reach out to a David Morrell and make a fight happen, right? We see Floyd Schofield going against the grain and, pushing the needle and making sure that his promoter, whether he likes it or doesn't like it, puts him in the fight that he wants to be in. Ryan Garcia did the same thing with Tank Davis. And it seems like a lot of these fighters, including Jaron Ennis, may be seeing that, right? He caught a lot of heat. He caught a lot of heat for the way this negotiation happened with Virgil, or the fight announcement, or his lack of knowledge on what was going on with his own business. He caught a lot of heat for it. And now I see him in the driver's seat, right? He's in the driver's seat now with Mel. You see him in the car. They're in the car more often now, and Jaron is speaking more towards about what he really wants to make happen and letting the space know, like, man, if it's not coming through me from now on, he wants things to come through him. And he said, listen, he said the promoters are going to be at the table for sure. And I think he was saying that just to address anybody who wanted to say that he was undercutting Eddie Hearns, but just to say, no, look, man, let's speak to each other. Let's make sure we're happy. And if we're happy, we should be fighting. If we come to the table and we're happy with what's on the table, then there's no reason for the fight not to happen. And ultimately, the promoters can't stop us. They're here to work for us. We're not here to work for them, right? That's how the fighters feel today. Is that true? Do you think so? You think the promoters work for these fighters, or are the fighters working for the promoters at this point? What do you think? Yeah, you're muted.
Here's the funny part into that. So the promotional company is not working for the fighter. The promoter that they hire for themselves or the management team is working for the fighters. They go to the promotional companies to get the fights. They sign the deal. The promotional companies own their rights, and those guys are putting on the fight. So they're talking to the promoters, and the promoters, as their representative, is the one that's sitting behind the scenes making these conversations. Boots being his own promoter, I do believe he has his own promotional company, and I do believe that he has a manager. I think that's where the talks start between him and Eddie Hearnside. And that's where people really get these things mixed up. The promotional company is not the promoter in sense of they're the promoters that are at home seeking opportunities throughout the wheelhouse. Whereas the promotional company, once you line yourself up with that promotional company, they own your rights. They are the boss. They are the ones that are sitting there doing everything, and they're sending it down to your promoter. It's almost like being an actor or an actress, and you go to Hollywood and they send you scripts. Hey, look, I got this script here, this script here, this script here. They send it to your manager. Right. Your manager brings it to you. You decide what script you want. They may be coming out at the same time, so you can't do both movies, right? So you have to pick one, a.k.a. Will Smith in The Matrix, right? He was supposed to be Neo, and a lot of people don't know that. He chose not to go that route. He chose to go the other way. I think he did Wild Wild West instead. Those things happen.
Big regret in his career, but definitely.
Right. Absolutely. So him going that route changed that whole career. Brought Keanu Reeves back to the forefront, took Will Smith, put him on the did Wild Wild West. Good movie. You know what I mean? Funny movie. But it was not the same. It wasn't a trilogy, wasn't a fourth movie coming out 10 years later, 20 years later. So we can see how that works. So anyway, Hollywood would be the promotional company. The directors or the producers of those movies individually will be your promoter individually, and they're sending you the scripts that Hollywood is delivering. So that's how it works, or the directors are bringing. So that's how it usually works. So, you know what I mean? It makes – no, man. No, bro. Pedro, get it right, frequent. Anyway.
But look, but on just kind of bringing it back full circle to say that fighters seem to have always, and I believe this watching boxing back in the day, that it always seemed like the fighters worked for the promoters, right? I mean, you had your Muhammad Ali's, and you had the fighters who pushed the promoters in there, put them in their place, and made sure it happened the way they wanted it to happen. But ultimately, it's always been kind of like, especially when you think about like Don King and the way Bob Arum works, and promoters just in general seem to always have been the one in the driver's seat of these fighters in their careers. And it seems like fighters are having a awakening, right? It's an era of fighters waking up and understanding, like, nah, man, you got to provide me the service. I hired you to do a job for me, and that is to get me the fights that I want to make happen. So now Jaron Ennis looks like he's staying in that driver's seat right now, and then a lot of other fighters are following suit as well. A lot of other fighters are following suit, right? We'll see what that ends up being. Have you let that roll over in your mind, this whole entire Jaron Ennis Teofimo fight? And a lot of people, I see a lot of mixed opinions on it.
Quinn, I did. It's so funny because I heard a video. A content creator put out a video, a short, and they were discussing the Teofimo Boots fight, and they were saying how it's bad for Boots, etc. I don't have to elaborate. You kind of can know where that's going. He should have took the Virgil fight. It's a step in the wrong direction. It's not the same as Tank. Tank, he called out a guy, but at least that guy was a champion, and there was no one else that would fight Tank. One, Shakur didn't duck Tank. 3, because I skipped 2. Don't worry, I'll get back to 2. 3, there was no conversation between other fighters, but they're bringing this all into this space and making it all about. They literally changed the whole conversation to Tank. Whatever, I don't care about that. The point is, they were trying to say that Boots should not do this. Boots should not fight Teo. I'm like, man, listen, and lightning struck through my head. Bloop. Listen, this dude bugging. Earl Spence did the same thing. He was being called out by Erickson Lubin. Am I not mistaken? As he's being called by Erickson Lubin, who was at 154, and saying that he can beat Earl. Earl decided to take on the fight with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia was calling him out and said, "Yo, bro, I'm come up there and whoop your ass. You know what I mean? I'm come up there and knock you out. Blah blah blah." Guess what? Earl took that fight instead. Earl later took on the fight of Sean Porter, unified his title. Right? Went from there and got another title after he fought Danny Garcia. He got into an accident, fought Danny Garcia. They came back and fought Ugas and got another title because he's supposed to fight Pacquiao. Mm-hmm. So Earl was constantly making the moves he did to unify that division, and then force the fight with Terrence by putting his money up out of his pocket to make that fight happen. So at the end of the day, I don't see a problem with that. And that's what I seen in my head. And I'm like, yo, people are just bugging. They only want to use, like I said, they only want to make sense out of stuff when it fits their bill. They don't look throughout history when they support stuff. So this is always a weighing scale that tips and balances every single day, Clay. And as long as, and they don't never balance the scale. They always put it where it's leaning to the favor of their favorite fighters, and the fighters they don't support, it goes down. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it's not even like an argument as far as fans and the way they're fickle with nobody's getting judged fairly across the board. Listen, it's a challenge for me to judge fairly across the board at times. You know what I mean? If we start talking about Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fighting right now, it's going to be clear close way before the middle of this conversation. You're going to be like, hold on, you're a Terrence Crawford fan? You're going to hear it. You're going to hear me speaking in a way that's going to be like, yo, this dude is talking. What about this? It don't matter. Terrence is different. It don't matter. Special fighters do special things. You'll hear me say crazy things, right? So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't care so much about what the space is saying too much because I know, like you said, all those influences are real. But I'm saying just for myself and for yourself, this fight right here makes sense or doesn't make sense. For me,
with Teo, absolutely.
I think it's an opportunity. I think it's the perfect time.
I heard you earlier talking on it, and you actually took the words that were on my mind because I know if I said the other way, people are gonna be pausing, so I'm not going to do that. And I was like, yo, the reason why it's a good fight when you kind of asked the chat the question, but you were speaking into it. I was like, because it brings the spotlight to both of their careers. Teo never been on pay-per-view. Teo's never he only rises to the occasion when he fights big fighters. Pause. He's only sitting there. He has a name in the game. You know what I mean? He's a champion of multiple division champion, multiple belt champion. It brings something to the table for Boots, right? On the other half, on Teal's side, right? But for Boots, it brings that all that weight up. It brings everything. It gives him the spotlight. It shares energy of championship caliber fighters. There's no Karen Kukajan. There's no David Avenesian. It's a champion, a legit champion that can fight, that we've seen win and walk around. He only has one loss, which he should have three, but that's otherwise said something else. But anyway, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an opportunity. He's in a complicated situation, man. Look, nobody can tell me about this whole Boots moving to 154 thing. And you know what I mean, right? Like me and you've been campaigning for this man to move there. So don't nobody want to see him go there more. You know what I'm saying?
I got the clip saved, but I'm not gonna give it to you because we can't play that here.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. The hell we caught, right? Being loners and being by ourselves out here in the wilderness while the world hated us. You know what I'm saying? But just keeping it 100 and telling the truth. But this situation, listen, man. The bull wants to at least unify in his division. He wants to fight the champions in his division. We can't act like that's not something he's been saying for the whole time he's been at 147, right? He can't fight a champion right now because they're all busy, right? Mario Barrios is in deep negotiations with Conor Benn. I even saw something today about him potentially being that Manny Pacquiao seems to be wanting to get back in the conversation and still campaigning to fight against Mario Barrios, which is crazy to me. I don't think it's going to happen, but Mario Barrios is busy. His hands are tied right now, to say the least, right? Stanionis supposedly is about to defend his title against a mandatory. I think at one point, Eddie Hearn was willing to pay some step-aside money for his mandatory, but look, Brian Norman is Right, exactly. Right. And then Brian Norman has a fight that he's getting ready for in March. So who's he supposed to fight? Keep in mind that let's not let this go to the wayside to understand that there's a reason why Teofimo's calling for this fight. Right? People don't understand. I know the obvious is the clout. The obvious is all these different things, but there's also certain intangibles in here that we need to take into consideration, right? Ray, like we got to take that IBF rehydration clause into consideration. Right. We have to take into consideration the performance he had with Karen and how that rehydration clause may have affected his performance, and that Boots actually acknowledged the weight potentially limiting who he really could be in that ring with Karen. When he fights Teofimo, that rehydration clause will be in place. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo's counting on that. He's counting on not fighting the strongest, best Boots that he can fight. He knows what's going on, right? And Boots knows what's going on. I personally don't think the rehydration clause affected Boots like people think it did, but I do think for me, it's more so like I'm uncomfortable or I'm comfortable type of thing. And why be uncomfortable if I don't need to be uncomfortable as far as Boots is concerned, if that makes any sense? Yeah. Like if I'm not unifying, if I'm not doing something incredible, why restrict my nutrition? Why stay inside of a weight and be uncomfortable? But am I incapable of competing at a high level when I cut this weight? No, I think we'll find that out on the March 15th when they fight that he's not limited to that level. But I think Teo is calculating that, right? That's what he's thinking about. But this is a perfect fight for Boots to show everybody that he's serious, for him to make the adjustments against Karen, and the threat is not there. Like when he was, like if he fights Barrios or Stanionis or Brian Norman. Now, I think Teofimo might be a better boxer than these guys, but his power hasn't translated at 140, in my opinion. I haven't seen his power really translate. Have you? Do you think Teofimo's power translated at 140?
No, I don't even think he had. I'll be honest with you. I'm telling you, and maybe I'm crazy, a lot of people seen power. No, you seen a stronger Teo fighting against smaller guys. Teo was a big 135 pounder, and he was able to utilize his size and his quickness to catch people in these awkward angles and put them to sleep. It is what it is. I mean, it's not like he got 25 knockouts. You know what I mean? Like,
let's talk about it.
You know what I mean? So people really out there putting his record out there like, yo, he got all these knockouts. Like, he's made a lot of stoppages. He beat the shit out of people. Don't get it twisted. But he was never like a knockout artist. Like, he got a few. He's plus. He's on the plus side of 50%. You know what I mean? I give him that. But he ain't going around knocking out everybody, bro. And I just said, like, you know what I mean? When he moves to 140, he may, being closer to his natural weight, because I think he's like a 155-pound guy, 154-pound guy walking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He may be more powerful. He may have more behind his punches when he's there. Teo's an interesting fighter. Like I said, this fight is it's a really good matchup because it puts a lot of pressure on Boots. It doesn't even put pressure on Teo. Teo's expected to lose. Teo's expected to go up there and get ran.
Prepare to be great, and then get stopped or something, and that's what he's going to get.
He's supposed to lose this fight. Teo's the one that is not with the pressure on him. Where on the other hand, what you mentioned with other fighters, he fought a Claggett, right? Claggett came down for 47. That was just a stepping stone of if he could fight somebody at 147. Right. That's what that was. A lot of people missed that window. He fought Josh Taylor. He fought Jermaine Ortiz, who probably will be moving to 47 as well very soon. He's also a bigger 140 pounder that has to move up and weight. You'll probably see him fighting Antoine Russell Jr. He's going to be moving up soon. Like, a lot of these guys are moving up, but he didn't fight him. I'm just saying generally. But he fought these guys who are stronger, bigger guys that he was able to withstand the punch power. You know what I mean? Back and forth. So, yeah, man, he's right. He's right there for the cooking. I mean, at the same time, he's right there for to take advantage of the situation, and he put himself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I think the fight is a decent fight. I think
play. Well, I got two plays. Fast forward.
No,
he gave me slow motion. That's the slow motion.
Something like that. But Thomas Hill also went into the Hood Rich. Salute Hood Rich in the building.
What's up, Hood Rich? Peace.
Into the pauses. When he hears the pauses, he feel like as grown men, we shouldn't be sitting here pausing.
I know. That's why I'm laughing at him.
Salute Chris Brooks in the building as well. Mac Majestic, LS Legend in the building. Who else? I saw somebody else pop up.
We got Chris Brooks came in the building. We got Secret Dance Move came in and said what's up. Blaze Pound for Pound. Who was it? Eric O. I said what's up to. RC came in the building. Shout out to RC day one. Let me see, Clay. I know Hunter Young was here. I'm trying to see who else came in. I think Mr. Lightning came. I don't know if he was here. Yeah, he was here already before I came up. LS Legend. I'm not sure who that is, but he's in the building. Shout out to LS Legend. Make sure y'all out there too, man. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. You know what I mean? And support the channel, man. Leave a comment. Leave a message. Come up if we invite you. You know what I mean? Let's do what we got to do. And yo, Mr. Flyer Frequency, salute to you. And you shouting me out all the time. I appreciate you shouting me out.
Sometimes the pause will get crazy with Ray. But all right, yeah, let's move to Needle, man. Keyshawn Davis unified in 2025, man. I put that up there, man. Listen, man, I think Keyshawn Davis is gonna have a great year next year, man. Yesterday I got roasted, man. I got cooked on Blue's channel by the chat. People in the chat were cooking me, man. I was giving Keyshawn his flowers, saying I think he's gonna put pressure on Tank next year to make that fight happen. I believe he's just exciting, and I think it's just hard to look away from the Keyshawn Davis show going on right now. And I think stylistically, you know what I mean, these two guys get in the ring, fireworks, man, fireworks. You know what I'm saying? Now, clearly right now, Keyshawn hasn't accomplished enough to be in the ring with Tank. Tank is, you know, a face of boxing candidate, but I just believe this year coming up, man, I believe he checks the boxes. He makes them. I think he has an opportunity to make the moves that put him right there in that conversation, that make it make sense. You know what I mean? And I think Tank is looking for that kind of a Keyshawn Davis kind of fighter to make a fight with. He just doesn't. I know people are going to push back like, no, he doesn't. He only want to make. I think he wants to be part of exciting fights. I think Tank's biggest nightmare or fear or whatever anybody wants to call it about fighting against Shakur or Devin is boring. He doesn't want to be involved in no boring fights by any means necessary. Like, he does not want to be involved in that. He's nerve-wracked about that. Keyshawn does the complete opposite, man. 2025, if Keyshawn Davis becomes a unified champion, takes that belt from Barichek, gets an opportunity at an IBF title, if he tries to unify with either Raymond Moritalo, if he is able to get the belt, or Vasily Lomachenko. You know, at the end of the day, that IBF belt is underneath the top rank banner. You know what I'm saying? So I think he gets an opportunity at it. I think we can see him unified next year. What do you think?
It's very possible. I think that when he wins, I think he'll have a mandatory in place. So that might slow him down on that. We might see him at the end of the year. I mean, I think he fought 3 times this year. We can see him again with 3 fights, and that could give him the opportunity to do so. Keyshawn has been a very active fighter. He's been very, very more accepted to the public. Besides, you know, he talks a lot, but he talks good game. You know what I mean? I'm not as, you obviously know, I don't like the way he run his mouth. It reminds me of somebody we talked about yesterday, and I was like, cool. But anyway, he backs it up. And when somebody's backing up what they're saying, bro, I had no choice but to respect you. I mean, I got to respect you for that. And Keyshawn has definitely he's put his name out there. I am not a prospect. I am a contender. I am a championship contender. You know what I mean? And he's making it known. Like, look, I would have had more fights. Because I was arguing with you. I'm like, yo, how Abdul Mason got more fights than this guy? He started almost a year or 2 after. You was like, that don't matter, right? I mean, you had that conversation. Yep. You know what I mean? But Keyshawn's going to do his thing, man. I think the whole move for Shakur, who he hangs out with very much so, was to get out the way of him in Top Rank so he can make this move on his own and have his own spotlight on him without being in the shadow. A lot of people didn't see that move happening, but I did. I was talking about it with somebody else. It might have been you. Could have been Frequent. I'm not sure. But when you move out the way and let somebody else get their shine, guess what happens? Now that person is going to be able to make a name for themselves. And I think Bob was like, look, we got 2 of you. We can't balance you both. So took the high road and was like, I'm going to let him shine. I can go over here and eat. You know what I mean? And when it's time for us to fight, we got 2 things we can happen. We can make the fight happen for a big fight, or one of us can move out the way and we'll just clean up the division. So I mean, it makes all the sense in the world, Clay, and it's making it really a good thing for Keyshawn in the way he's handling.
It is interesting, right? It is interesting because Keyshawn Davis gives Bob Arum the opportunity to do something that Bob Arum, when we think about his last couple of stars, in my opinion, right? I think about obviously Vasily Lomachenko. I think about Terrence Crawford. I think about Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? And I think about specifically speaking about Shakur Stevenson and Terrence Crawford. It seemed as if Bob had a hard time promoting them, getting people really to buy into their star power. Terrence Crawford, amazingly enough, even though with all the stoppages he had, and in my opinion, I just always thought he was an exciting fighter. I just never saw this whole entire Terrence Crawford not exciting thing. I just never bought into that. But Shakur, I will say, he's a great boxer, man. One of the best boxers in the space right now. But as far as excitement is concerned, selling him, getting him big paydays, right? Putting butts in seats, getting high pay-per-view numbers, things of that nature. It's an uphill battle with Shakur, right? It's an uphill battle to say the least. Keyshawn brings that element. And Keyshawn brings, in my opinion, he's like a combination of Shakur and Terrence, right? He brings Terrence Crawford's excitement in the ring, right? He brings Shakur Stevenson's mouthpiece to a degree, but also the skills are there, comparable to a degree. But he brings that mouthpiece, bro. Keyshawn brings that mouthpiece. He gets in front of a microphone and he makes it happen. You know what I'm saying? He spits that venom. He gonna call out your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. He's not tripping, and he's believable. When he says it, you hear him. You hear the belief in himself, in his voice. Okay, he said, "Space. It's shot o'clock." You know what I mean? He's shown it in 100% secret dance move. He sold 10,000 tickets. He's an exciting fighter. He goes for the stoppage. He has the killer instinct. He's defensively responsible. He stays in the pocket. He doesn't run away from the action. He's good on his defense, but at the same exact time, he slips shots and he makes opportunities to land those counter punches that make the fight exciting. You're not chasing Keyshawn around the ring. Bob has a real one on his hand right now, and I think Bob knows it. And I remember this time, well, not this time last year. Yeah, it was probably like around this time last year when we were talking about going into 2024, what we thought was going to happen with Keyshawn. I remember we spoke about potentially Abdullah Macy being the person that Bob Arum was getting behind, right? And he did. Abdullah Macy was getting pushed correctly, but he's still a prospect. But Keyshawn Davis, I always knew was going to be on Bob Arum's to-do list. The big, you know what I'm saying, a big to-do list with Keyshawn Davis, because what he could bring to the table. He was able to deliver this year, right? Bob Arum bet on him. He gave a super performance against Pedraza. He gave a super performance against Madueno. And obviously we saw what happened with Gustavo Lemos, put him right there now to actually get a shot at a championship, at a WBO championship, right? I just think he has the goods, man. And I think he has a real good chance of stealing a lot of the thunder away from the rest of the 135-pound division, namely his brother from another, Shakur Stevenson. He seems like he's slowly but surely about to top over Shakur Stevenson as far as status in the division. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I'm hoping if the boxing gods or if the fates would have it, I can see Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis bumping heads in 2025, bro, on a collision course to make a huge fight. Salute. What, Clay? Just tuned in. Salute, Select the Styles. What you're reading into here? A bunch of stuff is going on here. I know I missed it. What's going on, bro?
No, I'm taking a picture of what Hunter Young says. Shout out to Hunter Young, right? We said Keyshawn needs to show me something versus Baranchek. He hasn't fought anyone to make him show what he really does not have. I disagree. I totally disagree. But to your point, I am going to hold that statement. I took a picture of that because when he shows what he did with Baranchek and he proves himself to beat the dog meat out of Baranchek, because you said that. I don't want to hear later, oh, he ain't fight nobody. Baranchek wasn't a real champ, or, you know what I mean, who is Baranchek? I don't want to hear nothing. I took that picture because I'm gonna bring it back up and I'm like, yo, look, Hunter, this is you. You know what I mean? In all due respect, I like keynotes. I'm just letting you know I took that statement, dog. Because we take for granted that boxers haven't fought nobody. Obviously, you ain't see that monster he just fought in Moderno before he fought freaking Lemos.
Yeah, Modeno was actually the real testament. That was
Right.
the real testament, to be honest with you. People talk. Lemos was a big fight. He stopped him, and he made it look easy. But Modeno was the testament. That way he handled himself in that fight. That guy was bigger, stronger, and he stayed right in the paint with that dude. Slip shots, hitting him with everything. With the kitchen.
He wasn't moving.
He wasn't moving. There was a point in time when Modeno literally lifted him off the ground. Look how he's gonna slam him. Like, I'm not going nowhere, bro.
Nowhere.
You going okay? Slam me, bro. I'm not going. We're right here. What is it? How they say in the West Coast? We're right here. We're right here.
Oh, you got Thomas. How we say?
How we say? Thomas said we're right here.
For sure.
Right
Tell
here.
me.
We ain't going nowhere.
You know what I mean?
Right
Standing
here.
on it.
Right here.
I ain't gonna do no gang signs online by accident. So I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe.
Man, he showed out in the Modeno fight, man. Listen, man. Stylistically speaking, Dennis Berinchyk is going to be a new experience. This is a guy who's going to be moving around, using his feet. He got good feet. He's not going to be sitting there engaging Keyshawn. Keyshawn's going to have to find him. Keyshawn's going to have to cut the ring off. He's going to have to show another layer, another element to his game. And I think he's shown it before in the past, but not against this level of competition, right? This is going to be a real big deal. This is as close to Vasily Lomachenko as this kid is probably going to get to if Vasily, retires. So he's going to get to show another layer to the profile. And I agree with you, though, Hunter Young. I'm looking for him to make a statement in this fight. I think this fight is going to do exactly that for fans like you, and for honestly for Tank, for the fans of Tank.
I respect that. No,
right, for the people who need the boxes, who still need the boxes to get checked. This fight is going to give him an opportunity to do that. When he fights against Raymond Moratala, I think we know going into that fight, we've seen Keyshawn fight against this kind of fighter. Maybe not Raymond. Raymond is a good fighter, but Berinchyk is going to be a real acid test for Keyshawn Davis. It's going to be a big acid test for him. Yep. You know what I mean? I agree. What we got going on here in the chat? Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hit the like buttons. I really appreciate the engagement, man. It's everything. Don't be scared to put some color in the chat as well. Show a little love. You know what I mean? I know it's not payday, so we ain't tripping like that. But we definitely building. Let me see here. Show me versus Berinchyk, then I can tell. He needs to show me what he can do versus dudes who ain't there to be hit. I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I respect that. That's why I was like, yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, Keyshawn's a very sharp boxer. He's rising to the top with phenomenal performances. 100%, Blaze. We know this, right? Mm-hmm.
Here's the question I have for Keyshawn Davis. So we can ask get a response. Where do you rank Keyshawn in the 135 division right now? Like, is he top 5, top 10?
Listen.
You know what I mean? You can just put top 5, top 10. You can be respectful. Don't put like 100 because that's you. We know you just bullshit. There's some type of hate going on.
Yeah. I mean, we know who you are. Say that. We know
top 5, top 10. Where do you think he at?
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. Personally,
top 3.
Keyshawn top 3 in the space, man. He's behind only Shakur and Tank, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know where you want to put Shakur and Tank. Whether you want to put,
I'm behind Loma right now.
Listen, he's the goods to me. Loma's just, I don't consider Loma as an active fighter right now. Shout out to Selected Styles in the building, showing some love, put some color in the chat. Says I feel like Tio isn't clout chasing Ennis. I think he really wants to fight. He needs the bread.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he needs the bread. But more than the bread, I agree with everything else you said. I think it's hard. I definitely don't want to be on the side of any conversation that sounds like I'm defending or celebrating T.O. in a way where it looks like I'm not acknowledging how much of a douche this dude's been being, right? Like, I don't want to act like I don't acknowledge that, but I do have to be honest, just keeping it boxing, that I think he's a good boxer. I mean, I think he's a great boxer in his best moments. In his best moments, when he's against the best competition, in his best moments, he shows pound for pound attributes.
Okay.
But at the same time, we know how he performs against the Santa Martins, and we've seen him against Jermaine Ortiz. We've seen him in the ring with people looking super average, to say the least, right?
Okay.
But does he want to make these fights? When he's calling out Terrence Crawford, when he's calling out Boots Ennis, when he's calling out Brian Norman, when he's saying he wants these fights, is he serious? Does he really want to make these fights? I think so. I think he does want to make the fights. I'm not going to lie. Does he think he can win these fights? I think he does. Does he know he can lose these fights? I think he definitely does. When he calls out, he knows what it is. But I think Teo feels like who he is not being acknowledged in a proper way. And he feels like the only way he's going to get that acknowledgement is to fight. He literally wants to fight fights people think he can't win. He wants to fight those fights, which I think is admirable. It's honorable in its own way. His antics are so cringe, it taints and compromises the actual magnitude of the feats he's trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? It taints it because the antics are so petty and with the monkeys and the banana and I'm be honest with you also. I think the monkey and the banana thing, I don't think he meant it to be racist when he first said it. I think he just said it because he was just saying like the monkey and the banana, like he's the banana who wants the award. What he messed up is he didn't clarify when he saw how the people took it. He didn't keep it 100 and was saying, "Oh, I didn't mean it that way." I was saying it a whole nother way. But you guys are right, man. I would never say that. One of my best friends is Gary Antoine Russell. I would never call black people. That's not what I was trying to do. He doubled down on it. You know what I'm saying? When they came at it, he said, "You know what? They're going to give me the attention. They're going to give me attention," and he doubled down on it. Right. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? When I saw his face, I saw him say, "F it, bro. I'm gonna take the clout with him, man, trying to make a fight happen." And I thought that was real stupid and petty in him, bro. It was just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have kept it 100, bro. Just the same way he clarified the Puerto Rican thing. Remember when he had said the thing about ain't no Puerto Rican and we ain't worried about no Puerto Ricans, because he was literally talking about Sabril Matias, right? But the Puerto Rican community kind of came at him like, "What you saying about Puerto Ricans?" But he clarified it immediately. As soon as he got in front of a camera, he goes, "Yo, I love Puerto Ricans. I would never say that." You know what I'm saying? I was literally talking in perspective to present day Puerto Ricans in my division. I'm not feeling threatened by any of them. He should have did the same thing with the monkey comment.
And not to mention that he even did the same thing with his dad in defense of where his dad was coming from and how he doesn't support that side of the street. The problem is, after he supported his dad, I don't know if you remember the interview he did with Cigar Talk and Najee, he was like, he literally dropped the N-word 3 times. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold on. You just said y'all don't talk like that. You ain't about this. You don't support your dad doing this. And I get it. You come from Brooklyn. You grew up, you know what I mean, in the neighborhoods. I'm not saying you get a pass, but you know what I mean? I get it. The lingo's there. But then when you get in front of somebody and you start talking and you talk about Tank, and this was Tank. He was talking about Tank with Najee. He dropped the N-word like 3 times. Like, yeah. So he obviously is him and his dad definitely used the cross barrier lines
it's where they from, right? They from New York, especially his father, right? And you know already the way with the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Latinos in the community.
He ain't Dominican, he ain't Puerto Rican. Let's start there.
Listen, I'm just not gonna act like I don't know. I just can't do it, right? I'm gonna keep it 100 and say I'm aware of my community. I'm from New York. I'm aware. I've lived in my community. I understand when it comes to Puerto Ricans, when it comes to Latinos, certain Latinos, right? The N-word is used regularly, just like Fat Joe had to get it. I remember they tried to confront Fat Joe about it and say he's using the word, and he was cussing everybody out like, "Boy, I'm more of a, you know what I mean, than you are, bro. I'm literally outside. I'm really part of that element, right?" Now, Teo isn't part of that element, but he's part of the element to a degree. His father is part of that element. This is where they grew up, man, in New York, and this is how they carried it. So the rest of the country doesn't necessarily have to acknowledge it or understand it, but I understand it to be something that's real, that happens every single day, all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm saying. I know. If you don't know, you don't know, but I know. Can't nobody tell me about what I'm saying right now. You know what I'm saying? You either understand and you lived in it, or you just don't know and you're looking from the outside looking in. In New York, the Latino community uses the N-word as regularly as any because we're together. We're together. You know what I'm saying? We're growing up together. We playing ball with each other. We fighting with each other. We smashing the same girls. We doing everything. We living. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying we're is one community in New York. So
I know what you mean. You ain't gonna elaborate that much. We good.
Right. I'm just saying we're
the queen in the building.
We're in the same. We're in the same exact community. So that the N-word, the word nigga, gets used regularly inside that community. We all saying it to each other, whether we got beef, nigga, what's up, or we showing love, my nigga was good, whatever it is, this is how we're using it. Teofimo Senior is using it in the same way. I remember Angel Garcia did the same thing and they tried to check him, right? And they got all at him. And he pulled back though. He did the right thing. He pulled back and said, hey man, that's not what I'm here to do, blah, blah, blah. But he comes from that community where that's the way they speak. So Teofimo, that's why even Gary Antoine, when you seen Gary Antoine speaking on it, when they confronted, did you see that video when they asked Gary Antoine about it? He was like, what did he say? He's like, nah, Teo my dude. He's like, Teo my dude, he ain't what I got it. He said, before I react, let me call him up and find out what he was saying. Because he was in shock. He's like, nah, the monkey and the come get the banana for the monkeys. He's like, what do you mean? He was shocked because everybody knows Teo. These guys know Teo. And Gary Antoine doesn't come off as somebody who's going along to get along. You know what I'm saying? But the community cornered Teo in a moment to where he probably got sick and tired of being held,
right?
Made to look like a racist for using a word that he's probably been using for a large portion of his life, right? Ever since he's been young with his friends and everything he's been doing. And he said, F it, I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to push. I'm not going to push back at it. I'm going to take it. You guys can hate me for that. Maybe this will land me a fight. I don't think he should have done that. I thought it was real cringe and I thought it was real weird. I didn't like it. I was like, damn, bro, clarify, bro. Tell the black community that that's not how you carrying it, bro. That's not what you meant. That you said something, because he said a lot of dumb stuff before in the ring with the Rosa Parks thing after he won that fight. This is what Rosa Parks, he just trying to be like, he's trying to be the guy who got the words and he's trying to say the right things and he's trying to be all the showman, and he's not really, he's limited in his vocabulary to a large degree. I can see it. I've met people like him multiple times in my life, people who want to be something that they're really not, bro. And he said something that made him look stupid. And instead of clarifying and saying he didn't mean it that way, he doubled down on it and tried to take it and use it as some sort of momentum to build his brand up. Said he doesn't mind being hated, looking like at Floyd Mayweather's and the Muhammad Ali's and the people who said things to get under people's skin, but ultimately all publicity was good publicity, just made them either want to see him get beat up, or it made people who support it the way that they think he thinks support him and blow up his brand. It just looked bad though. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I always say, Teo, stop talking, bro. Fight, bro. Do a lot more fighting. Make the fights happen, bro. Make the fights happen. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Make the fights happen, man. It is what it is, bro. Stop talking, man. You're not active enough to be talking the way you're talking, bro. I need you more active and less talking. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's trying to get that fight, Clay. You know what I mean? I have to give him some understanding. I think what I also heard is Teal's opportunity. This is something I heard also. Was blown. He had the opportunity to be a pay-per-view star fighting Loma. He had the opportunity to be a pay-per-view star because that was a unification fight, right? Loma got his accreditation. Devin went and did it and made a bigger fight for them. Teal blew that opportunity. He wants that star power, and he's hungry for it. And because he's so hungry for the star power, what is he doing? He's looking at different ways to antagonize the space, antagonize other boxers, antagonize the media to bring his name forward. Rather, he's like you said, rather he's the villain. He wants to be that Floyd Mayweather. Everybody wants to hate him. Everybody wants to see him lose, but he's just going to keep winning. Doesn't matter how we look at it. It's going to be something that he's doing to regulate who he is and what he wants. He wants to get to that plateau of making bread, or he's no longer, you can see he's no longer about championships. He's talking about money, right? Like everybody says, I want the big fights. I want the bread. These guys are getting paid millions over here. They ain't even in my I've been with Top Rank for this long. They ain't even here. Why are they making all the money? You know what I mean? I remember his arguments and his little crybaby antics, but you know what? He took a different turn. Instead of him arguing, I think that's what his whole mental breakdown was. When he had all those mental issues, I think it was him not getting the money, and him being felt that he was not a star like the guys that came in and handled things the way they did.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. I think T.O. got sold. He got sold something when he beat Lomachenko. He got sold an idea of who he was, how his career would be from now on. The even him being undisputed, the way he speaks on that he's undisputed 2 times. He beat Josh Taylor and he considered himself undisputed at 135. The things he does, he holds on to those things. He thought those things and he thinks those things give him entitlement to a certain privilege of treatment, in pay, in star power, in A-side privileges. And the boxing space has pushed back at him. They've pushed back at him multiple times on it. And we just keep it 100 that you haven't done it yet, bro. You've done some things. You were almost there, but you didn't follow through. You didn't follow through with it by fighting more, by showing us more, by doubling down on what you did against Lomachenko and doing it to the next opponent and then doing it to the next opponent. And then accomplishing that. When you took that loss against Kambosos, you let it hurt. You let it hurt you. You said, I don't care if I lost against Kambosos. I still did what I did against Lomachenko. You're not going to take that from me. He never let it register. T.O. never let it properly register in his mind that he had to have a better fight the next fight, and that he wasn't all the way at the bottom, but he wasn't at the top like he thought he was. And his ego got hit, and he's been dealing with that ever since. He's been chasing that respect ever since. So any little bit of accolades that Teofimo can grab, he's going to take it. He's going to say, I'm an undisputed champion because Josh Taylor was never beaten for his belts. He was stripped of his belts. I beat him. I'm a 2-time lineal champion. I'm all these things. He's going to say them, and these things are true to a degree. But ultimately, he has to accept the fact that that's not enough, that there's more to be done in the ring, Teofimo. There's more to be done in the ring. And if you're not doing it in the ring, no amount of talking, no amount of antics, no amount of those things will ever replace the accomplishments that you still need to make inside of the ring. And that's what he needs to get back to doing. He got to get back to doing that, or it's just going to be this cringe stuff constantly happening. What did he say here? Rain Clay, do you see Keyshawn and Shakur fall out and fight in the further? I don't know if they fight, but I do question. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I do question, how is this Keyshawn Davis rise to the top? You know, him really just on this trajectory to be at the top of the division. How is that affecting his relationship with Shakur Stevenson? How is Shakur Stevenson taking that? Because one thing about these fighters, guys, you guys know just as well as I do, when it comes to that ego, this drives them. This is why Tank is talking about getting therapy, right? He said he wants, but you heard him clearly say he wants to stop boxing first, because he knows if he goes to therapy, that ego is going to get deflated. He's going to calm down. That fire is going to get messed with, and it could potentially mess with his boxing. Same thing with Deontay Wilder, right? As soon as he started messing around and started becoming Mr. Kumbaya, everything went south for him inside of the ring. These fighters have high egos, and you got to imagine that Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis being in the same division, and the way Keyshawn Davis is moving right now, at some point, I am keeping a close eye on it. At some point, I wonder how that's going to affect Shakur, to be honest with you, not Keyshawn, because Keyshawn's really, little bro. How's Shakur going to feel about it? If Tank and Keyshawn fight before Shakur and Shakur, I mean, before Core and Tank, oh, I don't know what that's going to say. I don't know how he's going to take that. You should have said all this earlier, Blueprint. Is he talking about me? Do you remember? Okay. Drop the time, bro. Okay, I don't know. Something's going on here. I don't know what's going on with Ray. Ray stepped out, so we're just going to put him out there and wait for him to come back. Let me read what's going on in here. Let's see here. Other than Tank is a closed circuit dude and keeps a small circle, Kerr was in that circle and kept talking about how Tank know better than getting in the ring with him, and it didn't sit well with Tank. Yeah, I don't know who you're responding to, but I agree with that, man. I agree with that. Thomas, so they tried to replace Lomo with a fight, and it wasn't something that Kerr seen was interested in at the time, and that's exactly the time frame when Kerr stopped saying Tank don't want to fight, don't want the fight. It will. You know what? I mean, that whole theory with Shakur and Tank, I'll be honest. I'm kind of like exhausted of defending it one way or the other. I'm okay with both sides. If people want to believe that there was an offer sent and Shakur passed on it, or if they want to believe that Tank, didn't take the fight. I don't think it matters that much right now. I don't take it personally. I don't play the word duck that easily, because to me, I'm from another era of ducking where ducking meant like you don't want no problems. And I don't think that's necessarily the situation. I think timing, money, marketing, politics, I think all those play a huge factor in this. I think if Shakur and Tank sat down in front of each other or spoke to each other on the phone like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford did, I think we probably see that fight happen a lot quicker than what we're seeing right now. Because I think what you're watching is a lot of politics. You're watching a lot of business guys who are concerned with their money and their investments and things of that nature. And I think a lot of the blame is getting pushed off onto these fighters who could care less, who really just, looking for that date to come together and make the money. You got somebody like Tank, who's probably should take more of a role in his career right now, be a boss, tell people what to do, make his demands more outspoken to his handlers. And he's choosing not to. He's choosing to sit back and allow those guys to move it for him. And then you got somebody like Shakur who's in my opinion, on the side of the conversation where he can't do too much. He has to kind of wait on official offers and paperwork and things like that to come to his side before he can act. You know what I mean? That's what I think it is. Daniel said, nice explanation for a duck. Hey, man, I it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't get into the duck talk like that unless I really believe it. Like, I believe Canelo ducked David Benavidez. I always stand behind that. Like, I believe that to be a duck. Everything else,
who's the duck? In the conversation, who's the duck?
I guess he's trying to say that I'm defending either I'm saying Shakur is not a duck or Tank. I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out who's who, because I hear the chatters now that because Steven Espinoza said that they talked to Shakur, that now he's a duck because he didn't want to fight with Tank, where there was no guarantee for that fight. I mean, it is what it is, and I never even touched base on this. I know you talked about it a little bit, and you moved on before I even came on the channel. I'll be listening in my headsets when I'm trying to prep to come on.
Daniel's stupid. I like that one. That was a good one, Daniel.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
he said, who's the duck? He said, non-fingers Donald. Like, that was funny to me. I thought that was good.
Man. But yeah, like that whole situation, if you listen to what he said, all that five people stuff is out the window. Listen, Stephen, I listened to that whole interview. I remember you asked me, and I never even spoke upon it. He said, we put 3 offers out. Our third offer was Lamont Roach. Our third offer was Lamont Roach. I quote what he said because I heard him. The second offer was probably going to be that fight that he wanted to get with El Rayo, because they were on the same side of the street. And I heard, and there were some sentiments that they sent the contract over there, and they declined the fight. So the first offer was Lomachenko, which he mentioned. As far as you want to fill in the blanks, if it was Shakur, De Los Santos, El Rayo, that's on you. I know for a fact that telling me, hey, and I firmly believe when the negotiations started, I don't think there was a one-fight deal offer. What I think happened was Shakur went in there saying, look, you guys got to come better than, or got to offer me something. You know what I mean? I'm being offered 3 fights here, a 4-fight deal here, a 3-fight deal there. And I think he went into that room stating that, and they were like, well, we're only willing to offer you the 1-fight deal. And he was like, I'm walking, right then and there, end the conversation. That's what I believe happened. I don't believe it was the other way around where they said, hey, we're going to give you a fight. What do you think? I don't think that doesn't make any sense. Why would a promotional company offer a fight, 1 fight? I think he went in there with his suit and tie and meant business. And he said, look, anybody else offer me these fights for this much money? I know you guys like to pay your fighters. This is what I want guaranteed for this many fights. They said, no, we're not doing it. We'll give you that this much money for 1 fight, but we're not doing it for 4 fights. And that's probably how it went down, or 3 fights. I'm telling you, it's people reading into stuff too long. And look, me, myself, also reading into it, right? But I'm looking at it from a different angle. That's all it is, man. I mean, we got to stop trying to fill in the blanks. When we have to, we have to. But I'm saying we got to stop trying to fill it in and then beat the dude up on the other side that we're trying to fill in because we don't agree with the policies or the way they're moving. Let's keep it 100. What Steven Espinoza said was he was looking for a 3-fight deal. That's what he said. He also never said that Shakur was offered a contract. So those things never existed.
He said 3-fight or he say multi-fight?
He said 3-fight. He said 3-fight. Okay. It was a 3-fight deal. And he did double down and say multi-fight later in the conversation. But yeah, I watched it, Clay. I literally clearly heard what he said, and I heard other people trying to play it out. I was like, man, let me watch this video. I know Clay told me to watch it. Man, it's not as bad and as silly as it stinks. But yes, it's old news, Ross Clyde. They're both bums. I know it. Matter of fact, everybody in boxing's a bum, and I agree with Ross Clyde. But at the same time, I just wanted to put that out there because I knew it was like it's a lot of confusion going on and misleading, Clay. That's all. And
confusion is what you said in this didn't bring no clarity to it. It just gave you some clarity to your perspective. At the end of the day, everybody has their different acid test. When it comes to this conversation, there's some people who feel like Tank, like I see people in the chat saying it right here. Tank saying, "What has Shakur done?" Boom, duck talk, right? There's some people who feel like Shakur not campaigning and screaming out Tank's name more, duck talk. There's some people who feel like Shakur not taking a 1-fight deal with the PBC, if that's really what was on the table. Duck talk. If he really wanted to fight, he'd throw away everything he got in his life to make this fight happen. Just because they gave him the stupidest deal that he could take when in comparison to the other deals he got on the table, it makes no difference. If he really wanted to fight, he'd have thrown it all away. He would have put it on the line and showed the world that he's the goods, and he would have compromised the whole entire financial stability of his family and then the rest of his career just to make that fight. He's clearly ducking. People are gonna say what they're gonna want to say, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, the only thing that really is consistent from a boxing fan's point of view is this fight happening or not happening. And it's not happening right now, right? And it might not happen, right? For multiple reasons. Because at times when we speak as if this is exclusively about two fighters wanting to fight each other. And I think as boxing fans, it's as simple as that. As far as we're concerned, we want to see the boxers jump into the driver's seat, move the needle, tell the promoters what needs to happen, communicate with each other more, make these fights happen no matter what. And that's who we hold accountable. When we don't see them fight each other, we look at them and we say, why aren't y'all fighting each other? And we're not in a boxing space where the boxers will communicate really transparently about why the fight's not happening. What Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence did was unfounded. And some people believe Errol Spence is getting punished right now because of the way he carried it and making that negotiation happen. Fighters are not getting encouraged to speak for themselves, speak to each other, and coordinate and make their own fights. As fans, we want them to do that, but that's not what they're being instructed to do. They're being instructed to take the guidance, to follow the lead of the experienced, well-trained promoter who's been in the business longer than they've been alive, and understand that promoter is going to always put them in the best position for them to get the best money, for them to get the best stylistically made fights, for them to look the best in their for their brand in the market, to keep their market value at the highest point. And then most of them choose to do that. They sit back and they allow that to happen. And unfortunately, what ends up happening is a lot of fights end up not happening, not because the fighters don't want to make the fights happen, but because the promoters haven't seen it as an ideal situation for them to make the most money they can, or that maybe they feel like their fighter is under threat of losing to this fighter and losing their losing their undefeated status, or maybe they think stylistically the fight won't be exciting and it'll make their fighter look boring. All these different things are taken into consideration when it comes down to the ultimate deal being made, the ultimate contract and offer being put out there for the fight to happen. It's not as simple as two fighters just wanting to fight each other. But I do believe it can be that simple. I believe when you look at Floyd Schofield, he shows you it can be that simple. When you look at David Benavidez, he shows you that it can be that simple. Obviously, Errol Spence, as I said earlier, when you look at that situation, it can be that simple. But these fighters are not schooled to move with the business that way. They're schooled to listen to their handlers. You know what I mean? So until the fights happen, they don't happen, man. You know what I mean? Right. Everybody's a duck until it happens, right?
Exactly.
Right? Everybody's a duck.
What's my favorite phrase? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. The Cam thing.
We'll see when it happens, right? We'll see. We'll see. The only time will tell.
Right. They will fight, and I don't want to hear that one was overrated when they lose. No doubt. Roscott, facts. It can be simple, but now they're all ducks and bums, of course. Exactly, Roscott. I think, Roscott, I ain't gonna lie to you. That was a well-timed and well-placed, because this is the fighters' bums is yours, copywritten to you. You know what I mean? I might get some shirts, but I don't know. I might get some shirts printed out and hashtag Roscott voice. Your favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, because we're about to get merch going soon. The ATP Combat Media merch is about to start popping soon, guys. So watch out for it. It is gonna be popping soon. But I might have to get that, man. Your favorite box is a bum. Hashtag Roscott voice. We'll talk about it, Roscott. We'll talk about it, bro. We'll talk about it, man. We're gonna work on that, man. That merch right there. That's some merch right there to make it happen. But no, you hit it right on the nail, man. It can be facts. It can be simple, but today they're all ducks and bums. Of course, 100%. To be fair, until they fight, they're all ducks and they're all bums, bro. It is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It is
to the younger boxers coming up.
For sure. Let's move the needle though. But yeah, Keyshawn Davis unified in 2025. I want to see it happen. I think it can happen. I'm rooting for the young bull, man. I happen to be a fan of all the ish talk. I'm a fan of him talking his ish, man. I've been a fan. Even when people, thought it was cringe, I loved it. I've loved every moment of I like the glaring eyeballs into the camera. I love it all. I'm here for it all, bro. I'm here for it all when it comes to Keyshawn, man. As long as he continues to translate that into the kind of fights that we've been seeing, keep on doing your thing, Keyshawn, man. We're looking forward to 2025. And I'll be honest with you, he's definitely in my conversation for fighter of the year for 2025 and definitely comeback of the year. He's in both conversations. He's not the one because I got other fighters in it, but he's in that conversation, man. Comeback of the year for sure. And definitely fighter of the year, man. This kid just look. We'll talk about it for the New Year show. This kid's trajectory, especially from where he left off at the end of 2023, and then the way he started this year up, man, he stole the show, man. Keyshawn may have literally stolen the show. Thomas Hill said, nah, he's just a different dude and consider him a brother. And he went on a campaign to say he wasn't and scared to hop in the ring. He's super emotional about ish, but they gonna fight. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know what he's talking about right here?
Okay, there's something probably mentioned earlier.
Chat, right? Probably something happening in the chat. After 30, Tank won't be in the prime. Shakur will be 30 as well by then. We'll have Manny versus Floyd all over again. Old dudes finally boxing. It's possible, man. It's possible. And really this show today, shout out to the thumbnail, this Move the Needle thing is really shouting out Jaron Ennis for acknowledging, you know what I mean? And I want to see where these conversations with him and Mel go. Why if he continues to communicate and jump into the driver's seat and let it be known what's going on. Communicate to the space what's going on with your career. When people are putting out these narratives, get in front of them. I want to hear him speak about this Teo situation. You know what I mean? Speak on it. What's going on with that? Is that real? Are you down for that? Is that something you're looking forward to? Is that something you don't want to do? Is that beneath you? Is that a fight you think? You know what I mean? Start speaking, man. Start speaking. Because if you don't speak, the space will speak for you. And as you can tell, it won't always go the way you want it to go. So it's something to think about. Yeah, man. Oh, you talking about the blueprint? Okay. Yeah, Keyshawn got the deuce, Thomas Hill, for sure, man. We gotta push the Keyshawn Davis campaign right now. And listen, man. Ultimately, I want to see Keyshawn in the ring with Gervonta Tank Davis. That's what I want to see. I make no secrets about it. Do I want to see him fight Shakur? Yeah. Do I want to see him fight Devin? Would love to see it. Do I want to see him make bigger fights? Yeah. Do I want that Keyshawn Davis fight? Damn right I do. Damn right I do, bro. I want to see that fight. So let's see what happens, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens, man. Let's move the needle, though. Let's continue to move the needle. Bill Haney at odds with Zab Judah. Are you paying attention to what's happening right now with Bill Haney, Devin Haney, Jaleel Hackett, I was gonna say Mill City co-host, but they have their own show, B4 Champ. But Zab Judah, godfather of Devin Haney, are you paying attention to what's going on right now?
Big Dre. Yeah. No, I haven't been. I've been watching a little bit.
So Bill, Bill Haney, and I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, I saw this coming. I saw this coming. I'm telling you, I saw this coming. So you guys understand, and we all know about what happened between Devin commenting under Jalil Hackett's loss, right? He spoke on it and basically said something around the line of this is your champion, or this is the guy you guys think is this, or this is supposed. He basically tried to kick Jalil Hackett while Jalil Hackett was down after loss. Jalil Hackett, obviously responding with him and his father responding to Bill and Devin, and basically Jalil saying he wants to fight Devin by any means necessary, even if it's a sparring match. He says he's willing to put $10K up. He says he doesn't got millions of dollars like Bill, but he got a couple thousand. He'll put $10K up that Jalil Hackett will knock Devin out in sparring or in an actual real fight. They're going back at each other as fighters should. As fighters should. And Bill Haney, I haven't really heard him speak on it too much, but wait, hold on a second. No, I want to pull up the tweet right here because I want to pull it up here. What happened to Real Black, bro? He's been going. Oh, Bill Haney's going hard. Damn. Hold on a second here. Damn, Bill. Damn, bro. Post. Bill Haney. I want to pull up this thing he put about. Here we go, right here. Let's go ahead and present it. Share screen. Bill Haney. Share. All right. So Bill Haney says, all this time I thought Zab was with us until he put crumbs on his platform for us to eat. Another Bernard out of his mind, right? And then you see him highlight on BoxRec what Bernard I guess I don't know if this is a message he put towards Bernard, but he basically said, chill out, big bad Bernard Hackett, take a vacation, get some rest, and put yourself together. Don't embarrass yourself anymore. It takes real work to get to the pay window. And right now, you are doing your son a disservice. I understand you're frustrated. You're frustrated, Dad. Your son just lost a split decision to a guy ranked 135. Shots fired. While he ranked 140. Here's the deal. I'll go down the rankings one by one. All 139 fighters ahead of him pass on their opportunity. Then I'll call Eddie for you. But until then, sit back, relax, and learn the business. Bill is just not a rookie at talking this ish online. He's not a rookie at all, bro. He knows what he's doing.
Bro.
Yeah, he doesn't play any games, right? But ultimately, more importantly, at the top of this tweet right here, where he says, all this time I thought Zab was with us until he put crumbs on his platform for us to eat. So, he's indifferent. He's indifferent to Zab Judah's position on Mill City. That these conversations come up where Bill Haney might be the at the end of the joke, or Devin's at the end of some scrutiny, and Zab always plays it neutral, right? He does his job, in my opinion. He tries his best not to take sides and to allow whatever guest is on there, because it's the guests that are doing it. The guests come on there and they're throwing shots at Devin, right? And he can't sit there constantly getting into arguments and fighting for Devin. Like, hey, yo, that's my godson. Watch how you talk. He can't do that, right? That's not the position that he's in the position to do it if he wants to, but that's not going to be good for the channel if that's what's going to happen every single time somebody comes with some indifference toward Devin. But I knew that at some point, because of how many fighters come on there throwing shots at Devin. And obviously we know Mills had his relationship with Bill a little bit when it comes to the Devin Haney conversation. We've seen how that's gone. It is got to be awkward for Zab Judah to be on the opposite side of a host who holds that position, and who most of the people, as far as fighters or even the fan base that are chatting in the chat about Devin, are not on Devin's side. And at some point they were going to bump heads. I mean, you didn't see this coming, Ray? You didn't see this?
I figured it would be the other way around. I thought because I heard Zab get into it because they questioned him. What do you think about this with Dev? Mm-hmm. And he always spoke highly, even with Bill. But he always, like you said, he tries to stay neutral because he's now the face in a situation where he has to be, non-biased. He can't give, even though he may talk to Bill or Devin outside, he may be talking to Mills behind the scenes. Like, yo, stop letting these people come up here and get disrespecting my godson. He might have said these things, but what he's not going to do is publicly do it. There's certain things that me and you don't agree on. We don't come on air and talk about, yo, this, and that. Clay, when I see you, we don't even talk like that in general. We try to be professional. We try to be grown-ass men when we talk. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing there. I think Bill just has some resentment towards towards allow this happening on that space a lot. And he wants some justice, but is it justice? No, because these people have a voice. They're allowed to say what they want. They're allowed to their opinions. Because they're not rocking with you, that doesn't make sense. You're just putting everything out there in the wrong atmosphere. And now you're putting all the weight on Zab's back, like he has to make a decision. And that's not fair to him either. You know what I mean? That's not cool. If you have respect and that's your boy, you should have respect for him enough to understand that, look, yeah, he's going to do what he has to do to protect his side of himself. You know what I mean? When we out there in the streets, you know what I mean? It's self-preservation first. Then my boys. You know what I mean? That's how it always been. Like, yeah, I'm gonna look out for my boy on the corner, but at the same time, they come by and they blasting. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get out the way first. Then I'm gonna look up to see if my boy okay. Am I wrong?
Right.
So what's the problem? Bill is always looking to spark flames. Now, as far as Jalil Hackett's response, I did tell you, Clay, that there was something that Jalil had kind of gave Devin some nonsense first with when he fought Ryan and things of that nature. This is just how Devin works. Devin doesn't usually talk to people unless they talk to him. Only person he really went at back and forth for a long time was Gervonta. But he looks for moments to expose the people that try to expose him, and catfish and the back and forthness. Maybe Devin needs to also take the high road most of the time. But then when he doesn't take the high road, they say, where he at? Why he letting this guy do this? Why? So he feeds into the pressure of the millions, right? That's what I like to call them, the fans out there, and the fan base, and the people that hate him. He feeds into that pressure. Devin needs to learn to step up his situation too, and just sit back, relax, and chill. Bro, you're a millionaire. None of these people care. You shouldn't care about what anybody's saying that's not on your level. That's not in the same room as you, that don't, you know what I mean? They don't drive what you drive. Stop letting these people get to your head, bro. That's just, I get it, he's young, but man, it's all nonsense at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. I do need Devin to focus. Man. I would like him to focus. I'd like him to, and we'll talk about the next topic, which is Devin Haney and what's going to take for him to get active. Guys, salute. We got like 45 people in the building. Let's make sure that that we're hitting the likes. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'm going to ask you to make sure you take a moment to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and build the channel, build the algorithm by hitting the likes. I appreciate all the engagement in the chat. I see everybody's deep in the conversation right now with this whole Shakur situation in Tank. It's a hot topic. Everybody's going to keep talking about it. I get it. You know what I mean? Like I told you guys, man, ain't nothing none of us going to do about it, right? Like, it is what it is, man. When they fight, man. They're not on the schedule right now, so I can't really build too much about what they got going on. So we're going to move the needle though and go to the next one, which at the end of the day, what's going on with Devin Haney being blackballed? Is he being blackballed? Is that what's happening? He's putting a lot of pressure and he's putting something out there about the space blackballing him, pushing back on him fighting. You know, maybe shots at Eddie Hearn, maybe shots at Bob Arum, maybe shots at Turkey. Who's he talking about? Is he talking about the whole space in general? Is Devin Haney being blackballed, or what's the or? Is Devin Haney just not the same? Does he not pull the same kind of money?
I think
that he did before, like, you know what I'm saying, or promoters just being honest with him and he's not liking the conversation that they sent him back to him.
I think his whole I think I don't want to say it's blackballed. I just think when people don't want to mess with you due to the fact that your dad's always loudmouth and making a lot of bad karma, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's karma. Running around the streets, making problems here, there, picking and poking, as they say, right? And then you're sitting there and you're looking for the big and the best fights. You're not getting them, but you're hopping, you're block hopping. You know what I mean? You claim this set over here, you claim that set over there, you claim your homies over here. You know what I mean? And they don't mess with each other, but yet you trying to, but I'm saying I'm chill. But then you want to fight this guy and that guy. At the end of the day, what's happening is I think the promoters, like you said, they're just like, look, man, sign with somebody. With this whole, you're kind of, and I get it. He's kind of changing the game a little bit also, but it just don't look good, especially after you take a L and you go on this whole pushback thing. You know what I mean? You go back on, I need to go to court. Sue this guy, he took drugs. And rightfully so, you're entitled.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the way you did it, the way you went about it, the way you handling it. Whether he gets his get back or not. And then you had an opportunity for a fight, if I'm not mistaken, to defend his title. And what did he do? Started crying, talking about, oh, they ain't paying me enough. This ain't happening. That ain't happening. I'm like, bro, just take the fight. Take the fight. Get that step back. You know what I mean? Get back in the ring. Wipe that little rust off, that little, if you want to say it was a fluke, knock it off. Then move back into championship form. You could have unified just recently with Paro instead of Hitchens winning that belt.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a perfect opportunity because you could have got back in that ring. You could have beat Shannon Martin, right? Then you could have fought Paro, unified, and then moved to the next chapter, probably trying to unify the division or even moved up to 147. There were so many ways to move and do the right thing, but you're holding your own career back now because you don't know if you want money. You don't know if you want unifications. You don't know if you want titles. You don't know if you want to be a big name. You don't know if you want millions of dollars to fight on pay-per-view. You don't want, you know what I mean? There's so many different lanes he's trying to fill, and he's trying to satisfy. And I think Devin's problem is he's trying to satisfy the world. He wants to be accepted. And he wants to be accepted, and he wants the acknowledgement of Tank Davis. And because he's not getting that acknowledgement, and it's always getting pushed back and thrown in his face, his dad throws tantrums. So what he's do? He gets upset and he moves a certain way. So it is what it is. And I'm not going to be gagged. Oh, I thought you said gag Ray. Never mind. Freaking, Halo's thing. They don't let me talk about it. For Halo, so, But anyway, no. He needs to, that team needs to really sit back, evaluate, and know what they're doing. I don't think it's either one. I just think it's them getting in their own way. And then, when the times happen and the things are brought to their attention, they're just not feeling what the people are offering. So they're moving different directions. That's what I think it is. Honestly, they just don't want to accept what's coming. You know what I mean? You're not that fighter right now. You have to put your name back in that space. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Devin's getting a reality check, and I think the whole boxing space is getting a reality check. I think the whole boxing space, I mean it, man, across the board, there's a reality check that's settling in. And Devin Haney is one of those guys who's getting the biggest reality check, right? We talk about the adjustments being made at the PBC and fighters over there getting their reality check about the abilities and the sustainability of what they've been doing with the PBC in comparison to what's actually happening in the present time right now. And then we have Devin Haney, who's also starting to realize that they worked hard to build up their market value. They've been doing this for a while. They had promoters who bought into the idea of him being a big star and what he would attract, being Gervonta Tank Davis's biggest opposition, being at the face of boxing, hated Devin Haney the most out of everybody. The Tank fans hated Devin Haney more than any other Tank opposition. So they thought they could use that, move that into something that would create money, opportunity. But in reality, once he took that loss from Ryan Garcia, a lot of these promoters lost faith in Devin Haney's ability to be the Devin Haney they thought he was going to be. And he went and doubled down and sued and did all these different things and never took any ownership for his own role that he may have played in the way he performed that night in the fight. And ultimately never has shown that he's going to come back with any real genuine attempt to be great yet. He hasn't shown that, right? He's been doing a lot of like what he just did with Jalil Hackett, right? I think that Devin has to understand that, just like Teofimo, that his redemption, it starts in the ring. It's not outside the ring. The redemption happens in the fights. It happens in you getting in the ring and showing out, showing your skills, becoming you already are champion in recess, but being an active champion, going for unifications, going back to what got you to the big show, and getting there as quickly as possible. And that might include you not getting paid as much money as you once were getting guaranteed when they were invested into the Devin Haney show, right? He has to humble himself. He should. He doesn't have to do nothing. But I would say, in the spirit of being active, when you hear somebody like Liam Paro communicate that, listen, man, Devin priced himself out of a fight with me. He priced himself out. He should have been the one sitting in front of me. We should have been fighting, and he priced himself out. I think that's a telling sign about what's going on. That Devin's used to being a high-paid fighter, and he's not necessarily being offered that anymore. And if Turkey's going to put him in position to make one of those fights, it's going to be a real competitive fight with somebody who really could hurt him, right? So, and then you got fighters like Teofimo who refuse to be a B-side to Devin Haney. They're like, yo, I'm not going to be a B-side to you, bro. I don't care. So, is he being blackballed? I say to a degree I can see how people would feel like that and how Devin could feel like that. Because if blackball means you're not getting the deals you want, you're not getting treated the way you want to get treated, they're refusing to concede to your demands, then yeah, you might be getting blackballed. Because I don't think nobody is ready to concede to nothing that's not going to make them money at the end of the day.
Right.
It is what it is.
And not to mention, on top of that, let's look at other athletes in this sport and other sports. Everyone has their highs and lows. You know what I mean? You're going to be – Terrell Owens was the best receiver in football with 3 different teams. And he had his high points. And what happened? Every place he left was tainted, right? Basically, he left a bad taste in everyone's mouth when he left those teams. When he went to the Bengals, he kind of mellowed out. He had another star there. That star even moved out the way. He left his career, then went to Baltimore or whatever, ended his career nice and easy. But the point is, when you go places and you already have this tag on you and people are looking at you certain ways, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be the Terrell Owens of the league or boxing. You're going to be someone that people are thinking that you're just a half a Floyd, I would say. There you go. You're a half a Floyd Mayweather or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Or broke cheap Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? You're not the real guy. They're going to look at these things and look at it that way because the fighters today are protecting themselves in certain cases. Not all fighters, but like Devin, for instance, he wants to be undefeated. He wants to have all the belts. He does want the big fights. He said he don't care if he wins or loses, but obviously he cares if he loses. He wouldn't be taking some of the actions he took. But I think he just needs to get his tail back in the ring. He needs to go in there. He needs to show the world who he is. I think he could put on an exciting fight with anybody. A good opportunity for him right now is jumping in the ring. He could
Oscar Duarte or Jack Catterall?
Yeah, Catterall or anybody, basically. He moves somebody. I haven't even heard anything about the Sandor Martin fight. Go get your belt. That fight's still
supposedly supposed to be fighting Alberto Puello on this tank card I'm hearing. Right.
They said it was the Benavidez card. They said it was just I don't know what's going on. But if they don't fight, man, get in the way. Go over there and get your belt back. You know what I mean? Go do something that's going to make us say, yo, this guy is back. We're glad he's back. Let's see, you know what I mean? Let's see him reign again in the divisions. Let's see him move up. You know what I mean? Go challenge somebody. We know how boxing is, man. Boxing is a non-forgiving sport. You know what I mean? You do it for us once. We don't care. You got to continue to do it. And when you don't do it, guess what we're going to do? Don't care. So, yeah, that's just the way it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles, and deal with it at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. He needs to get active, man. And he definitely needs to understand that he's going to have to take a step back, man, and take a step forward. And I heard somebody in here, I believe it was Eric O, who said, y'all always want Devin to be the one to sacrifice. I want Devin to sacrifice for himself, though, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not asking him to sacrifice for anybody else, and not sacrifice for me. I'm saying for yourself, sacrifice, show, improve, bet on yourself in a real way. And by doing that, meaning take less money to be in a fight, show out in this fight. You know what I mean? Build yourself back up. Do a Roy Jones, y'all must have forgot moment. You know what I mean? And then come back to the table and negotiate from the point of, yeah, I'm still him. Instead of wanting people to look away from the Ryan Garcia situation. And I'm talking about the fight. I'm not talking about the PEDs and all that. I'm talking about the literal fight. Wanting people to look at that and just scratch that from their memory. Like when the court tells the jury to go ahead and scratch that from their memory, like that's going to really happen, and act like you still don't need a redemption moment because of that. You still need it, bro. People saw the fight. They saw what happened. They saw you get hit consistently with left hooks. They saw you make fundamentally bad mistakes. They saw you headhunt when you don't normally headhunt. They saw you getting your emotions in so many ways. You have to address that. And you can only address that in the ring. And you need to do it sooner rather than later, as soon as possible.
And not to mention, I never asked him to go Australia and sign a deal with Top Rank and sacrifice millions of dollars to go fight for Undisputed. He chose to do that. I didn't ask him to go up and move and fight Regis Pro Grade and fight Regis Pro Grade and then sacrifice the next fight. What's up, Just Do? To sacrifice a fight with a unification opportunity he could have had with Matias and go fight Ryan Garcia. He chose to do that. These are not the things that we're asking him to do. He chose to sacrifice himself. And I'm a Devin fan to a degree, to the point where I even got thrown over the fence and part of the cheerleading squad. You know what I mean? So he did those things on his own. I supported him. I backed him. You know what I mean? Just like I backed Shakur in his in the movements he made. I backed the decisions that Tank made. I'm not going to criticize him for everything. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm allowed to, but I don't, because I don't care what they do as long as they keep continuing their situations and they make their just do. Funny, right? They do what they got to do to get it done. I'm all for that. And that's what it's all about, is us being fans and seeing them keep progressing. And once they stop progressing, then you're going to see the fall-offs. And then you're going to have to rebuild yourself back up. Look at, for example, Shane Mosley. When he took that L, you know what I mean? He got back in the ring, tried to get his get back, took the L again, fell back. But what did he do? He built himself back up to where he got a title. You know what I mean? He moved up in weight, got a title, did everything he was supposed to do to continue his career. He's still known as one of the greatest welterweights of all time, junior welterweights. You know what I mean? Shane Mosley is a person in history that is known as a great champion that fought big fights. So I'm not going to take anything away from that if he moves that way. I'm just saying generally that, hey, if you got to sacrifice, then you got to do what you got to do to get back in that ring and make things happen. You know what I mean? To put your name back in the rights of other people to say, yo, let's go. That's it.
Yeah, man. This comes with it. You know what I mean? This comes with the job description, man. You took a loss, man. It's not on your record. Thank God. You know what I mean? It's not on your record because of the controversy with the PEDs. You get an opportunity, but you still have redemption is still your responsibility. Nobody's letting it go. And like I think I saw frequent in there saying we can't separate the PEDs from the fight. Yeah, we can. And I'm saying that to say that the boxing space has, in all reality, in all real time, boxing fans in the space have separated the PEDs from the fight, bro. It's happened already, past tense. You can't change that. That's not you can't make that. It's happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Do I think that the PED should be factored in? And when it comes to the conversation of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, yes. But that loss he took, it's been taken. Listen, it's two separate conversations, bro. There's the PEDs and then there's the performance of Devin. And the PEDs are not going to take away from the performance of Devin. What Devin did in that ring exposed a part of himself that people want to see if he's addressed and if he's gotten over it and if he's still going to be a force to reckon with in the boxing space. And once again, there's only one way for him to address it. It's not going to be through social media, through some tweeting, through some fashion nonsense, to him talking about Jalil Hackett, what happened with him. It's going to be inside the ring. And it's going to start with his next opponent. And he needs to be focused on making that happen sooner rather than later. And he needs to maybe understand and embrace the fact that it's not going to happen financially the way he wants it to happen. That is more important for the fight to happen than him to get rich off of whatever this next fight is going to be. It's more important that him and Oscar Duarte fight, him and Jack Catterall fight, him and Subriel Matias fight, him and somebody fight soon. Because the Keyshawn Davises of the world are moving up. The Abdullah Masons of the world are moving up, right? You got all kind of fighters that are in their own right, making their own movement right now. Boxing will leave you, bro. Boxing will leave you, and you'll come back.
No forgiveness.
Yeah, you'll come back a different fighter. Don't get it twisted. And it could be a good or a bad thing, right? The longer you stay outside that ring, the more difficult it's going to get, in my opinion. Look at Errol Spence right now. I keep telling everybody, bro, I don't know who Errol Spence is right now, and I mean it. I'm not trying to throw shots at him. I'm a fan of Errol Spence. I want to see him do great, but damn it, he's been out the ring for a long damn time. Okay, and I don't know when he's coming back anytime soon. He's going to be possibly different when he gets back.
Yep.
I don't know who he's going to be. I hope he's the best version of himself, and I hope he comes back in rare form and dominates his space and does all the great things. But will I be shocked if this man does a Danny Garcia? What Danny do with Arizona? No, I won't be. I'm like, damn, bro, that's what happens when you sit out the ring for two years and change, and you know what I'm saying, and you come at the biggest killer in the division when you come back. You won't even take a tune-up. That's what happens.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It is what it is, man.
And to cap it off, Clay, one more thing. What happens?
Yo, Rod Scott, Ryan juiced up supersedes Haney's performance to you. Haney's career, Haney's market value and money, what Haney brings to the space as far as a threat, it's been separated from the juice, bro. People saw him lose a boxing match, bro, and have made it clear that they don't care about the PEDs like that, bro. He has to fight. That's how he responds to it, bro. I'm not discounting Ryan Garcia's juice. I promise you I'm not. I swear I'm not. I'm telling you I'm not. Ryan Garcia don't get no, you know what I mean? He gets no freebies over here. He hardly gets any love, if any love at all. We really don't play with him like that.
Right.
Devin Haney, as far as Devin Haney's career, Devin Haney has to make a decision as to when he's going to be ready to get back in that driver's seat and respond to the boxing space. And he has to respond with 2 gloves on inside of a ring, crush from somebody.
And that's what I said. Just to close this out, I just want to say, like, you can't go around hating on people that have their opinions about you based on the actions you're taking. All you're doing is burning bridges in the space, and you're making yourself more hated than liked, and you want to be liked, right? So if you're going to take the villain mask and put it on, then go full out, be the villain, and go out there, take the little bottom dollar, and do what you got to do to win. I mean, show everybody why you're the best. Be that guy. If you're not going to be the villain, you want to be loved and be that that king of the ring, then go out there and show us either way. You know what I mean? Embrace everybody that's hating on you, prove them wrong, and show us. Other than that, I have nothing else to say or talk about it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Thank you, Ross Scott. Trust me, because these conversations get weird because you start speaking and people start thinking that you trying to defend Ryan, and I am not doing that, bro. Trust me.
No.
I don't even talk about Ryan like that purposefully. I really don't deal with the bull like that. I really don't. He really out of pocket. Like I said, I even separate him from Teofimo. Like Teofimo does his Korean shit and everything like that, but Ryan's on a whole nother level. Like I really have classified that dude. Like he's not really part of my vocabulary like that. But Devin Haney's career, nah. Devin needs to do something. We're waiting on him. We're waiting on him, bro. We're waiting on you if you're watching this show by any chance. If you happen to stumble by, we're waiting on you, man. Get busy, baby. Make a fight happen, man. Nobody's blackballing you. I don't believe it. Nobody's blackballing you. But are they looking at you as your tax bracket might be different in the space, like how much they're willing to pay? I think you know that. That's why you sued him, right? He affected your market value, right? He ultimately hurt you in that fight. He hurt your market value, right? So you know you're gonna have to take a sacrifice. You're gonna have to take a step back. You're gonna have to take a pay cut, and you're gonna have to make a fight happen no matter what. By any means necessary, you're gonna have to make a fight happen, and you're gonna have to show out in that fight. And that begins the conversation of changing the narrative around your name. That begins on changing the narrative around your market value. It's all about that next performance. When that happens, I think we'll see things move in a certain direction. But until then, it's going to look bad for you out here. Let me see. Thomas Hill, Clay, wouldn't Jalil Hackett be considered a tune-up fight? No, I don't think so. But I'll tell salute to my brother Blue Blood Sports in the building. Salute.
If I could tap into that question and let you get cooking.
Well, I'll just say real quick. I'll just respond to it quick and say no, not a tune-up. I think Jalil Hackett is a threat. I think it's a big risk versus reward. Fighting Jalil Hackett at 147. You mess around and get clipped by this kid, you're going to get clipped by a prospect who you shouldn't have been in the ring with. I don't know if that's what you should do, but you did talk crazy. Jalil Hackett has every right to get his fair one. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all can make some money doing it, let him get his fair one. You know what I mean?
That's in response to what Jalil said to him when he lost the fight to Brian. So
it don't matter.
No, I get it. I'm just saying that's
if boxers talking to each other.
At the end of the day, they're fighters. They're going to chime back and forth at each other. It's like kids in the classroom. This guy over here on this side talking, this guy on this side talking, and they start throwing paper at each other, whatever. I don't even care about that. The point is, what I want to make is, if he moves to 147, I think he will. It would be a great fight for him to move up and test the waters up there. That'd be a great introduction fight to 147. Whether he wins or lose, I know he obviously sees something. That's why he threw that out there. He sees something in the works, and he probably figured that he has an opportunity to beat him. My problem is, it's a prospect. So you're a division undisputed champion. You're a two-division champion, and you're going to move up to fight a prospect in another division while his feet really getting wet, and you know he has some flaws that you can expose. Shame on you. That's where I have the problem with it. But if they do want to get it in, let it happen. Just like I'm not mad at Teo calling out Boots, I'm not mad at Jaleel calling out Devin. If they get it in and Devin whips his ass, it's going to happen. I do see Devin winning that fight. I don't see Jaleel winning that fight unless he comes in heavy. And when I mean heavy, I mean closer to his 190 weight. Then maybe, but other than that, I think it's a good fight if it was to happen.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm down to watch it. You know what I'm saying? I'm down to watch it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think Devin should take the fight as far as for his career. I don't know what Devin wants to do as well. I don't know if Devin is going to really fight at 140. I keep hearing about it, but I don't know if that's true. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if that's true. I walked away from that Ryan Garcia fight thinking, damn, Devin might need to go up in weight. That's what I've been saying since day one. People telling me that he's really a small dude. He's really a 140 guy. I don't know. So I've been cool with that too. Like, all right, I'll see that happen. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know. What'd he say?
Yeah.
Around at
190.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big kid, man. He's a real big kid. It really don't even make no sense for him to fight at 147.
He should be at 160. He should be fighting at 160 for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's my opinion.
150 minimum. Not 147, that's for sure. But anyway, it is what it is. We'll see that what that manifests into. Anything else happening in boxing that we missed out?
Well, did we talk about Fury yet and Usyk?
Not really. We haven't talked about it. I mean, going into that fight, we haven't, but we can talk about it. I got my opinion on what I think is gonna happen.
Oh, please share. Do share.
I think Usyk beats Fury more convincingly this time.
Okay.
I think Fury's going to make a lot of adjustments. I think he's going to try to come in bigger. I think he's going to try to. He thinks that's where he fell short at. I think Usyk is a confident, knows who he is fighter. I think it's the year of the Eastern European. I think that momentum is there. I think Usyk is very confident and knows exactly what he needs to do. And I think Fury's going to try to do something different, and Usyk's not. He's just going to go round 13. It's going to be round 13. He's going to take off where he left off from, and I think there's a chance he stops Fury, but I think he beats him in a more convincing fashion, though.
I'm totally opposite. I think Fury puts on a few more pounds to get himself solid, but I think he learned from his mistakes, dropping that hand out and pawing and playing around in the ring. When he had control of that fight, he should have just kept control of that fight. What he did is he started taunting, and all that taunting cost him, because not only did he get gashed from the weight cut, he also was hurt. Salute, Blue Blood. He also hurt himself with leaving himself open, leaving that hand out there for that overhand to catch him. And once he got caught, it was a melee from there. He just didn't expect it. But that's what boxing is about. It takes one punch. That's why we always said any fighter can win. It doesn't matter who it is. And you got to give credit to Usyk on that fight. But I don't think he repeats that. I think Usyk comes in. I think he leans on him. He tries to wear Tyson Fury. I think he wears Usyk down. And I think he's battle tested. He might even drop Usyk in this fight.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, without a doubt, man. The thought process behind what you're saying makes sense to me, man. You know what I mean? Fury's definitely capable of winning. My question is Fury confident in himself enough to continue doing what he did in that fight, or does he feel like he needs to make adjustments? I think Usyk knows the adjustments he needs to make. Usyk gives me the impression of one of those fighters that once he's had 12 rounds with you, he's very good at processing that and making his own adjustments and understanding. I think he realized that he was the more athletic fighter in the ring with Tyson Fury that night. I think he realizes that his ability to hurt Tyson Fury makes a big difference on how he's going to approach this fight. I think you're going to see him press the gas even more. He's going to press it even more on Tyson Fury. He's going to test the conditioning of Tyson Fury. I know people have always talked about Tyson Fury having great condition. I've seen Tyson Fury not be the best conditioned guy before. I think Usyk is going to use his athleticism to create those opportunities to clip Tyson Fury. And I think if he hurts Tyson Fury the way he hurt him in that last match, that he finishes him. Like he doesn't allow the ref to get in the middle of that. He puts the nail in the coffin. I'm pushing to see a great fight one way or the other, but I'm definitely leaning towards Usyk.
Right. I think he makes the right adjustments. And I don't think it's going to be much different. I think he's going to fight similar until he needs to change up. I think his adjustment is going to come into a B plan to see how Usyk comes out. If he comes out and he allows Tyson Fury to get the shots off that he was getting before, I think Tyson continues to do that. I just don't think he's going to fall for the trap of getting that shot. I don't think he takes it a little bit more serious. I think he's going to close the gap between them. And like I said, lean on him. He's going to put a lot of weight on him. Usyk's probably prepared for this. Also, you know what I mean? I'm not going to take nothing away from him, but I just think that at the end of the day, when you see Tyson Fury, I don't think he has a trembling bone in his body. Unfortunately, I mean, the guy fought Wilder not once but 3 times. And every time, even though he got knocked down, he got right back up, and then he pummeled this guy. So it's very possible that I think he knocks it. Like I said, he knocks Usyk out. If he doesn't knock him out, okay. If he doesn't knock him out,
I think that athleticism is going to play a big key in this fight. I think shout out to Roscoe because he's keeping it 100 about that as well. You know, Tyson Fury was never that power guy. He was always the athletic guy, the light on his feet guy, the guy who's able to move around and move around like Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? He ain't that no more. He ain't mobile like that no more. And he's changing. He's trying to become that power puncher, but that's not who he is in his best day. The best version of him isn't the power puncher. The best version of him is the guy who beat Klitschko. You know what I'm saying? The best version of him is that guy who's moving around the ring in front of Deontay Wilder and just being elusive and making it where Deontay couldn't hit and not get hit. He's not that person anymore. Usyk is still in his he's still, when it comes in comparison to Tyson Fury, the athletically gifted guy. He's a guy who can move around. I think he saw that. I think when he fought Tyson Fury, he fought him feeling like, yo, I got to deal with this athletic build, this athletic light on his toes guy. But I think midway through the fight, he realized, like, you really can't move like that. That's why I caught you with that shot. You're not able to move around the way you used to move around. I'm going to press you, bro, and you're not going to be able to get out the way what I'm going to do to you because I can get to you. You're not fast enough. You're not agile enough. You're not that guy. You're not slick enough anymore to evade me. I'm the more athletic guy, and the one thing that I was worried about, I got answered. I got the power to check that chin. I can get you together. I can hit you and get you together, bro. So I'm going to push and go for that. I'm going to push and I'm going to go to get you together.
I'm glad you said that because I think that's what.
Oh, you're frozen.
And it's going to be the lights out.
Start over again because you froze.
I said,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he lands that shot, bro. I think what you said.
You think he over pursues and he comes?
Yeah, I think Usyk's time. He's going to try to time him. He's going to land that shot. He's going to put him out, and I think it's going to change the whole complexity. And we get a part 3. You know what I mean? We get a round 22 or 24, whatever it is at that point, 25. You know what I mean? But I think it'll be a knockout. So whatever that round continues from, I think we do get it, Clay.
Yeah,
real.
Yeah. It is what it is, guys. I'm going to go ahead and we're about to close it up. I know we only been on for about 2 hours, but I got an appointment, something I got to get done. And also got a live going on today with Blue. Supposedly today is the day that Roy's supposed to be coming through. So we'll be talking to Roy Jones today on Blue Blood. That'll be fun. So you guys make sure you tune in there. Hit your like buttons if you haven't hit your like buttons. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'm pretty sure everybody that I see in the chat right now has subscribed. A couple of people earlier that were in here, I don't know if they were subscribed, but if you're not subscribed, take the time to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man. hit the like button. If you planned on putting some color in the chat and you didn't have a chance to do it yet, please feel free to take advantage of the super chat button right there, or you can hit the Cash App. I'll go ahead and put the Cash App as well. By the way, Cash App is kind of more welcomed, you know, kind of like those Cash Apps, a little bit better. But outside of that, man, it was a great show. Ray, it was a great show we built. Shout out to the boxer. Salute. We support the boxer. I hope the fighter always takes advantage of their voice. Their voice is always welcomed in the space. We always want to know what's actually going on, and we always we hope you guys follow suit like Errol and Terrence did, and don't be scared to speak to each other. You guys don't got to be enemies with each other to where you can't even speak to each other about the business that you're in and putting together some of the biggest and best fights. You know what I'm saying? The fan base is missing on that, thirsty for that energy to see the fighters make the biggest fights happen. So shout out to the fighter, man. Shout out to the fighter. Anything you want to say, Ray, before we close it up?
No, I think we all good, man. You know what I mean? Have a blessed day, everybody. It's raining over here on the East Coast. I don't know where everybody is, but up north. So we'll get you if they can. Devil's a liar, y'all. For real. Salute. Blessings.
No doubt, no doubt. Salute, salute, salute. Blessings to the chat, man. Until the next one. We out.
They hate when you elevate. Stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they want to come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all bad like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to